Now, I was very fortunate recently to play one of the world's most famous golf courses, Royal Lytham, in the northwest of England. Not once, but twice. The first time I was the guest of a member who very kindly invited me to play, and the second time was a competition. So I didn't film the second day for fear of putting off my playing partners, but I'll show you some footage from the first round that I played. But I'll start this particular video with a little clip that I filmed on the first tee at Lytham, and it's a special place for me for reasons which will become clear in the video itself. So as always with these clips, if you're enjoying the content, do subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for some action from Royal Lytham and some reflections first of all from that very, very, very special place for me, the first tee. And this is the first tee. This is where they tee off in the Open Golf Championship. Long par 3. The back tee is actually hidden from view. It's behind the pro shop, and most of the players day-to-day tee off the other side on a different angle, but this is the view that you have from the first tee. And if I take you back as well, just behind this bush, this is the very back of the first tee, is my old primary school. So the trees weren't quite this thick in the days when I was there in the 70s, so I could actually see the players teeing off the back tee from, you know, the school playground. So I guess that was part of my inspiration to become a prospective decent player. I got down to a 2 handicap at the age of 16, but never managed to play here in a big tournament. My brother actually played here in the Open Golf Championship twice, in fact, and I caddied for him on each occasion. But this is just such a wonderful venue, and it brings back a lot of memories for me. So I can't say that I played particularly well today. I scored 31 Stableford points off a handicap of 5, probably shot around 79 or 80. And we didn't even play off the back tees, so it was a very mediocre performance. The putting was better, my iron play wasn't particularly crisp, my driving wasn't quite up to scratch, but for a change I putted quite well. Didn't make a single birdie all day, didn't have any disasters, but not the kind of performance I was hoping for. And it's funny, when you do a score and you think you're doing terribly badly, you actually end up with a score that's not that far off the prizes. So it's always worthwhile, you know, trying to grind things out a little bit and see if you can hang in there at the end. But always a joy to play here, great privilege to play here. This was actually the old boys event from my old school, not the primary school, but the secondary school that's on the front, just sort of over in this direction, over the other side of the railway line. So lovely to come back here, but hopefully next time I will score a little bit better. I did manage to video a number of shots from my round with Paul. That's the first round that I played at Lytham, but I'm just going to let the footage roll in the background while I mention a few things about the experience of playing a links course, a championship links course like Lytham. It really is a treat. It's something you look forward to. It doesn't happen very often, and it's an experience you really have to savour. And I think the first thing you notice when you tee off the first at Lytham, from the regular tee, the one that's, not the back tee that I showed you before, but the regular day-to-day tee, which is the other side, the clubhouse side of the pro shop, is it's like teeing off a putting green. The grass is so pure, it's quite an intimidating thing to tee off when the surface is so precise and so pure. It's hardly got any indentations or divots in it. It's a beautiful surface. But straight away you know you're in for something special when you tee off that first tee. And then of course there's the bunkers. There must be something in the order of 180 bunkers around Royal Lytham, and you do very well not to go in any. The ones you really have to be careful of, I think, are the fairway bunkers, because if you go in a fairway bunker, they're deep, they often have these layered or riveted faces in front of you, and you just have to take your medicine and get the ball back out onto the fairway. It's almost an automatic lost shot if you find a fairway bunker, so don't be too greedy if you go in there. And as always with these bunkers, if you get a nice flat lie and your ball is in the middle of the bunker, you can get a stance, get your body and your feet fully in the bunker. It's lovely sand to play out of. But often if you're at the edge, you've got this weird stance, you sometimes can't get your feet in the bunker itself, and it can be very, very penal. So if you go in the bunkers, you're in for a hard time. The greens on the first day when I played with Paul were very fast, they were really pure, and I don't think my putting stroke was quite up to the task, to be honest. But I have made a bit of a breakthrough with my putting more recently, which I'll explain a little bit later on in this video. When you do find the fairway and you play off that lovely links turf, you notice how different it is from an inland course, like a parkland course. So I grew up on these links courses, but I now play on a nice, lush parkland course, a hilly course in Cheshire. So there could not be a bigger difference. You've got that nice sort of fluffy lie, plenty of grass under the ball on my home course now in Macclesfield. But goodness me, you've got to be precise with your ball striking at Lytham. Very easy to fat it, to miss-hit the ball. But when you do hit it nicely and you take a little divot, oh gosh, it feels so nice. And you get some lovely spin on the ball. Okay, so we're on the 11th tee at Royal Lytham. It's a par 5. But have a look at where the pros play from in the Open. So just come on a little walk with me up this little path. Back to the blue championship tees, and great view over the 8th green, 10th fairway. And this is what you see from the back tee. Great view again of the 10th green, and Paul way in the distance there. He must be, I don't know, maybe 85, 90 yards ahead of me now. This is what you play off the back tee. Thank you. 601 yards. Now, I mentioned before that I'd been struggling with my putting, but made some kind of breakthrough. And the breakthrough came because I took this little bit of video of my putting stroke on the practice green, and I noticed I was slicing the putts. Yes, you can slice putts. It's not just drives and long shots that you can slice. And I used, sometimes these balls have little triangles on them, like a little pattern on the ball. But what's interesting is you can see the triangle moving sort of sideways rather than rolling forwards and straight, which proves that the side spin on the ball. And what tends to happen with me is if I have a right to left breaking putt, I'll feel comfortable slicing the ball into the slope so it can then, borrow to the left. But of course, on a left to right putt for a right-handed player, then it's gonna slide down the slope and miss on the low side. So almost trying to hook the putts, as I'm doing now, swinging more in to out, the actual stroke is square to square. And it's enabled me to set the ball much more on the right path, and my putting in the last couple of rounds I've played has been much better. Now, one of the quirky things about golf is that you can actually play these championship courses where, the greats have won major events and great things have happened, famous shots have been struck. And it's in contrast to other sports. You can't just pitch up and play on the centre court at Wimbledon, or play cricket at Lord's, or, take your football down to Wembley and expect to have a knockabout. It just doesn't happen, but it can in golf. Admittedly, it's quite expensive to play these places. But, for many, it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience to tread in the footsteps of the greats and to imagine what it would be like to play this shot that so-and-so played in whatever, championship from years ago. Now, this actually happened to me on the 17th hole. There's a very famous plaque that's in the ground by a bunker on the 17th. And it goes way back to 1926. The Open Championship at Lytham in 26 was won by an amateur. The great Bobby Jones, the man behind the Masters tournament that's played in Augusta every year. He won the championship that year. And he went in this bunker on the 17th, the same bunker I'm in here. And it's a very intimidating shot because it's a very sharp dogleg right to left. You have to play over all sorts of scrub and wasteland. You just see a little flag fluttering in the distance. And that's all, just the very tip of the flag. You can't see the green. It's a blind shot. And he played a miracle shot from this bunker onto the green and then went on to win the event. I had a go playing the same shot. Didn't quite pull it off. I actually hit quite a nice shot, but it ended up in a greenside bunker, not on the green as he managed. And of course, there was a little bit less at stake when I was playing with Paul the other day. But it's just one of those things about golf that you can try these shots and imagine what it would have been like to be Jones in that situation. And again, playing into the 18th is a great thrill. You see the famous clubhouse behind you. It looks alarmingly close to the back of the green. You think, oh my goodness me, am I going to break a window if I overclub? But it's a very, very long green. But what a treat it is to play that second shot into the 18th. So as always, if you've enjoyed this content, then do subscribe to the channel. And if there's anything else that you'd like me to show in terms of content, tips, techniques, a bit about the psychology of the game, then do let me know and I will do my best to share in the future. See you soon.